Hi, friends. So, today I have a very special topic to discuss, and that's something that's not just a theory for me. It's something that I lived through practically, and I had an inspiration to share it with you from my heart as well. And I'm sure for those who felt attracted to the topic, by the end of this video, you will not just find something relatable, but I will also share a couple of tools of how to deal with it. But first of all, I would like to introduce my special guest for today, and this is Mr. Emotional Support Pickle. Hi guys! So yeah, he will be here giving us some emotional support, and I hope you like him too. He also likes to be seen. So yeah, that's the topic, Sometimes you even want to be disliked or you want some emotion. But that's the worst feeling when you're just ignored. When you're just not even in the room. When you feel like you just don't exist and there is just no purpose for you. Have you ever felt like that? So it really feels terrible. And the worst, it feels stupid because sometimes it's even happening when you're surrounded by people. But still, it feels like nobody knows your real value. So I have two news for you. One good news and one bad. So the bad one, let's start with the bad one, with the more difficult one. This is a bit more deeply rooted than we can imagine. We'll talk about this later. And the good news is that the actual feeling of being unworthy or unseen, it doesn't have to do anything with our self-worth. So let's get to it. So where does it start from? It starts from the very childhood. As kids, we don't really know who we are. We just learn to identify ourselves, and mostly we learn from how other people react on us. And that's where the competition kicks in. We start to being compared to others, and it registered in our consciousness that we're only loved, we're only seen if we are exceptional, if we're better than someone else. So yeah, it pretty much sticks in our system, and it's really difficult to get rid of it. And later on, it transfers to our further stages of life. And we start to compete for the place, we want to be seen, we want to be... Basically, we just want to be better than someone else. Why? Because the kind of message that society gives nowadays is that you either have to be the best or you are nothing. And yet, even if you have so many external things to show, like your beauty, your talents, your education and whatnot, still when you have all those things, it still feels like something missing. And I heard this from people who've been in this situation, when it's like they have everything they ever wanted, but still there is a hole in the heart. And sometimes, honestly, it can get to you. Like when all the time as a child you hear like, oh, why are you not just doing so well like that girl from the school? Or why are you just not as good runner as that boy? And all of those things, they just get to you throughout the years, and at some point you think like, what if I'm really just useless mistake of creation? What if really I'm not enough? What if really I'm just useless? Why am I even bothering to live? Those thoughts come to everyone, and that is okay and absolutely natural. So what to do with it and how to even deal with it? There is also a thing. Sometimes when you achieve the things that you wanted, or you achieved some recognition, which I agree may feel nice, but also, let's not forget that it works as a magnifying glass of what you actually feel inside. So if you felt like you're never enough, like you're so much small and you're not worthy, this may make you feel even like less seen. Why so? Because you are appreciated for all the things that you have and that you achieved, but it will still seem to you that you are not appreciated as a person, and it can hurt even more. That's why we see many people who are rich and successful. There are many cases like that, where they get into very severe ways of numbing themselves, like drugs, alcohol, and whatnot. And because you have more money, it's easier to dive into that hole. So that can be something very, I wouldn't say dangerous, but it's like a big test. And the more you fulfilled inside, the less agitated you would become at that stage. Basically, it doesn't change you, it just amplifies whatever you have inside. So if you try to just amplify, just use the amplifier without making a strong foundation within yourself, that's going to be very much it's gonna cause you so much destruction eventually. Here is one more thing I would like to mention, is that those who are deeply feel invisible and often procrastinate and just delay things to the last moment are often a very great perfectionists. They want things to just be perfect or not to do them at all. And here's the reason why. Because making a small step at a time may feel so useless. It's like, who is even gonna see this and appreciate this? It feels like a torture to make those small, little invisible steps. That's why it's easier sometimes to just dive into some distraction rather than making something, some type of tiny effort that doesn't really mean anything. Because there is no fate that by doing those small efforts, at one point it will become your habit and it will become your life. So that's how things are, and it can be very complicated, but here are the good news. So the good news from the Vedic perspective, as we know, we are not these bodies and we're not who we are in society. We are the Atma. Atma means the soul. And it is described that the soul is like one bird sitting on the branch of the tree, while beside it sits one more bird, observer, silent friend, which is Paramatma, super soul. And that one is always looking at us, no matter what we do. Don't be creeped out. It's not like the type of friend who will judge you for doing something wrong. It's a very big well-wisher of ours and a helper. And sometimes we may hear it as intuition. And often people in the West, they call it intuition, but that's actually Paramatma. So the good part of it, that your every little small effort is seen and it counts. So taking that to mind really helps to get up every morning and understanding that just showing up, it's something that is really seen. It's already noted and it's not useless. So sometimes theory can be quite easy, but when the feeling is taken over and you just feel like, oh, whatever happens tomorrow, I don't care, let it be. I'm just here today, the rest doesn't matter. Yeah, it's very easy to fall back to your old ways, and the reason is behind because we've been practicing for so many years, feeling hopeless and feeling useless once something goes wrong. But if we bring into practice small little nice habits that help us to feel uplifted, then we can change the whole game. So here's the first one that is very simple to do and also backed up by neuroscience. It is described when you look in the mirror and you talking to yourself. Actually create specific reactions in your brain as if another person is speaking with you. So, if you speak to the mirror and just say, I am strong, that doesn't really work. But if you'll say, you are strong, I know you've been through a lot. I see you. I'm here with you. So that feels a lot different because the mirror, it works like an amplifier. If you say mean things to yourself, it will also work. If you say you're a loser, you're never gonna win, that's just how it's going to work on your nervous system, as if somebody keeps bullying you. So yeah, if you keep telling to the mirror these things every day for just a couple of minutes, believe me, it will make you feel like there is one more person, a friend, who is trustworthy and who is there with you by your side through your rise and falls. The tool number 2, that's something very sweet, but that's not something you may practice daily. But I think you actually can, but it may just be a bit challenging. It's called anonymous kindness. So I dare you to do one small kind gesture today or tomorrow. Choose it. You can just give a flower to an elderly person, or even say something nice, give a small gift, help to carry a bag, whatever feels right. Just do it for the other person without expecting thank you, without expecting anything back, and also without sharing with anyone. Just do it as an offering, and once you did it, just notice how warm and nice it feels in your heart. But don't even expect that, just do it. Just do it. And once you notice the feeling, and you will understand that that's the reaction. The feeling I have, it's the reaction of being seen, as if someone approves it inside of you. So that's when you start to understand that your worth is actually within and not outside. So yeah, try this and see for yourself if that helps you. And the third one, that's something also quite nice and one of my favorite. Most of times when we ruminate about how unworthy I am, how small I am, how useless, it actually feeds our ego because I becomes in the center. So if we shift from that and we shift our attention to something good, something else, not me in the center, that becomes easier to digest. Because the opposite of ego and pride is humility. And humility doesn't mean to think bad of yourself, but to think a bit less of yourself. So yeah, here is the thing. You just have to find every day 5 things, or maybe 3 things. You can even start with 1 if that feels difficult. Something that you're really grateful for. Not just writing, not just selecting some generic thank you for my legs. You have to feel through it, like something that really moves your heart. So once you find that, write this down. Better to keep it in even some separate notebook so that time to time you can check this out and just remind yourself about the feeling you had once you wrote it. So yeah, just write this down every day for at least 2 weeks and see the change. Write with the feeling, not generic thank yous, not generic gratitude. That will help you to shift your attention from what's bad to what's already good and what's wonderful. So yeah, the conclusion of this is you're always seen, you always matter, and the fact that you exist, it already means that you have a purpose. I hope this was helpful to you, and if it was, then please like, subscribe, ask your questions. See you next time.